Hi everybody, welcome to this month's Twin Flame Alignment workshop. This is where I bring forward the work that we've done in the Patreon group, just the parts that I have brought in, as well as a summary of how that interfaced with the others in the group and what they brought in. So this is really for the Twin Flame Collective, but you don't have to be a Twin Flame to listen, because it is talking about ascension energies and how the Twin Flames are working on the ascension process. So here is the workshop. If you feel like you want to be involved in these workshops, you can join the group on Patreon. Some people participate and some people just listen on replay. Also, even though this is happening in this timing, usually ascension work is affecting mostly the first wave as the ascension comes down, and then it ripples down in waves to additional segments of the community as they're ready to receive it. So any time you're listening to this will be the right time for you. We'll be sharing some light language activations as well. So this is something that you can listen to over and over again, and you get the next level that you're ready for each time you listen. So let's jump in. This was a very big shift from the 4 to the 5, which is a continuation of what we were doing last month from the 3 to the 4. We actually had more twin flames with us, and it was very much coordinated, only semi-consciously, with other groups of twin flames doing similar work and other channels channeling in the same kind of geometries. So it was very magical and a lot of synchronicity. So as usual, there was a lot of things going on around the different members of the group leading up to the workshop. It was all very synchronized. And as we pulled those threads together, we really saw a pattern and a story form in front of our eyes. Between us, we'd gathered information about a foundational level, the 4, with 4 corners, like a square, with each of the 4 corners being one of the elements, earth, air, fire, and water. And then there was the introduction now at this time period, at this full moon 888 portal, of a 5th point coming in above that, right in the center, and anchoring energy. And then the ether was the 5th element coming in the top, and that was elevating from 3rd dimensional, which is the base, up into the ethers, or the higher dimensional structures. So one of the divine feminines in the group had done some energy work with a divine masculine, and 2 related twin flame pairs from the same group came in and formed a geometry on those 4 corners of the pyramid, just like in this astrology here. And in this geometry was echoed across quite a few other channelers, speaking of the energies going on. So in this particular healing, 1 twin flame was on each corner of the pyramid, and they activated the 4 corners, which, just like the astrology, represented the 4 elements, earth, air, fire, and water. And then there was a 5th energy coming down the center, which was the ether, the element of ether, raising us up from the earth up into the heavens. So raising the energies higher, bringing in that spiritual element. So the pivotal shift at the point of the Aries full moon 888 portal, and 888 is expansion, it's growth, it's abundance. We're moving from 3rd dimensional up to 5th dimensional, or we could even say perhaps 4th dimension up to 5th dimension. But what we're doing geometrically is we're shifting from a 2-dimensional structure, which is a square, into a 3rd dimensional structure, which is a pyramid. And I would say it has even more dimensions than that. I would say it's a multi-dimensional structure as part of the ascension process. And this month we've moved the 4 to the 5. And this is clearly a representation of a collective movement that a lot of light workers and specifically twin flame pairs are working on. So what happened in this workshop was that we had 5 twin flame pairs, and instead of one twin flame of 2 pairs on the corners of the square, we had twin flame unities. So 2 people, twin flame pairs on each corner, plus a 5th. And I believe that was the pair that were here together in the workshop, rather than a representation of the pair, which was the other 4 corners, on the 5th, on the pinnacle. There happened to be 5 twin flame pairs represented, and one of those was represented by masculine, 3 by feminines, and then the 5th one was a unified twin flame pair. And so there was so much synchronicity during the actual healing session, which is a co-creative healing session between all of us, and everyone contributes as they're guided to. So there were things like one person in the group would be seeing Fibonacci spiral in the shape of a nautilus shell just at exactly the time that somebody in the screen next to them on the Zoom had one in their hand. So that kind of thing was happening. It was very synchronous and really emphasized even more that we were doing something very guided, very organic, and very much in line with our purpose as twin flames, where we created a twin flame collective purpose line that we all connected to and activated. And over the week following, between the workshop and editing the recording, there have been a lot of other things come to light about what we were doing and how it fits in to collective processes and the twin flame journey. So the theme of this workshop was the big picture, and it really raised it from the 3rd dimensional to the next dimension up and into group collective co-creation. I'll speak about that at the end, and I've cut it down from 3 hours. Pretty much cover mostly just the essential information and the healing energies. So I'm going to start off now just where I explain to everybody how the workshops run, and then we'll drop straight into the healing sessions, and then I'll give a little summary at the end.
If you haven't been before, you don't know how it works. So normally we speak about what the energies are going on for everyone that are coming into the group that we're working with, and then when we feel that shift and we feel the energy come in, we all participate in whatever way. It seems to be orchestrated naturally anyway. So it has a natural flow and a divine flow, and we just read that and we flow. So if you feel to say something, speak. If you feel to stay silent, you can. If you want to make sounds or use instruments or get crystals, anything you want to do, we just allow it to be very organic. And usually you'll get visions and things that you can bring in at any point you want to as well.
At this point, one of the divine masculines spoke up and expressed that he was feeling this incredible love energy coming in and amplifying in the group, and us all connecting up on the energetic, ready to do this work, all the hearts connecting, all the energies connecting. And he also mentioned that he had been experiencing physical pain and restriction in all his joints, lower back particularly, his left hand. He could hardly mobilize it. And this matched with what I had been experiencing also. I'd been experiencing a lot of pain, especially joints, muscles, down the left side specifically, crossing over into the right occasionally, and headaches. We'd both been experiencing headaches. So we were understanding that this was an energetic process in the build-up to this work we were doing, and all part of the process. He had also said that what it was this incredible fifth energy, let's just say, of the incredible high level of love, incredible love coming in and upgrading all of these areas in our bodies.
Amazing. I can feel as you speak all the energy of the group and everything we're bringing in. I'm feeling it like moving down through the lower chakras, down through the lower body, probably through the parts that were hurting actually, and feeling huge energy coming in through the crown like this, like not like this, like this. And down the spine. I feel some light language coming through.
Akaya taya koya kaya kia taya kaya koi ayaya taya ashaya koya ya taya la ya koya ashataya la ya 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 oya kia ya ashakoya katia kaya koya kaya ashaya kaya ya kaya toya kaya ya taya yo ayakia yo ayakia koya ya tia kaya ashia kai akia ayatia koi ia toia kaya kia koia aia ti. Ia koia kasha ia kia. Isha ia kia taya. Isha ia kia toia kaya kai. A kia oia taya kai. Aka ia toia kai. Iki ia toia koia taya ki. Aka tia koia kai. Aka ia kaya tia koi. Aka tia koia kaya ti. Aka ia koi. Aka tia oi. Asha toi katataya yo. Akatia yo. Akatoya kaya ia taya kia oya kia kashatia koi. Akayo. Akayo I shataya ki. At this point, the first DM mentioned that, as I said, I felt a channel coming through. He saw a galactic being engage, and he felt the light language to be extremely soothing to his being. I had stopped the channel at that point because I had been indicated by the galactic beings to throw to this particular DM when he then told us that he'd seen the galactic being. So he said that the message coming through to him, the understanding or the knowing, was that everything is as it should be. That everything is coming into balance and everything is progressing well, that we are safe now, and that the galactic beings are going to reveal themselves at the physical level, at the energetic level, in a way to reassure us on the path that we're on and that we're safe and that we're supported. We then received some light language from one of the divine feminines, and then some more light language came through me.
Kia atia kakatia kosha katia ka ia takatika toka taya ki toka taya ti. Isha kotoya kia takatia kakatia kaya koya. Atataki taki takataka i tukotoko. Akataya tai kako toko ti ki. Akai toko koko. Akataya tia ko akatia ka. Akatia katoya kataya ki kakai. Akati kai to koi to kai. I katai to ti to tai kai. A tai to tai ko. A ka tia tio ko. A ka ta ti. A ka to ko ya ta ti kataya. I feel like there's soft coming over you. It's like soothing and bringing loving energy in around you and kind of hugging you into the group in a sense.
At this point, one of the DMs said that he really felt a big hug, like it was a big hug energy and a big activation of the third eye chakra, as did one of the divine feminines felt that third eye chakra activation. And they felt this connection through to the whole group even more connected. So if you refer to these pictures that I found on Google, you'll see that the third eye chakra and the crown chakra, the Zeal point and the throat all create this geometry, which is similar to the geometry we were activating with the 4 points and then the fifth. And the fifth point in the middle is the pineal gland. So what's happened there is both the DM and the DF have emphasized the third eye activation. I'd felt the crown earlier extremely activated. And as they mentioned that, I felt then the throat, and then we moved to the Zeal point.
Yeah, I'm feeling the throat chakra is coming online as like getting an activation for everyone. Like the next level of like moving from the 4 to the 5 at the throat, right? Going to that next level. Really feeling it now. Kayatika kayatiti kayakiki kayakiki. Feeling also like a stiffness around the neck, almost like a statue, like as if I was a stone statue just at my neck. Like this needs to soften up, like there's something gonna soften around there. And it's connected to the spine and the pelvis in terms of a posture. And I've been getting this sense all day, like my lower back that's been moving energy through, needing to like almost like crack. You know how you might like crack a toe, but like the whole left lower half just needed to like someone just come up and go crack. And so I'm feeling that at the neck now, at the neck vertebra. And there's been a lot of shifting in the sessions I'm doing around this Zeal point, which is our galactic portal, essentially, and the base of the skull. And this also connects us to Atlantean times here as well, here in the jaw, and then here. And what I've been feeling coming in during this session is that soul purpose, which is our soul seat that sits here. That's where we hold our desire to really be active in our soul's purpose. And rather than just knowing what it is, like stepping into it as such, a desire to step into it, not the actual stepping into it. Because that can often be really suppressed and shrouded and you don't even want to, you know, but it's really active at this time. And so, yeah, what I'm feeling is, I don't know if anyone else can perceive it, but like this stiff neck, like we're loosening up and limbering it up as the next phase, and being heard, being able to speak out, being heard for what we say and what we mean, not what people think we mean, or being understood at a lower level of what we're saying or what we mean or what we want. And it lining up with this soul's purpose, this desire to be in our soul's purpose, speaking that desire into reality. Okay, so I'm feeling a lot of shifts through the back of the heart, up through the upper chest, through the throat.
At this point, a divine feminine spoke up about the need to really step in quite urgently to do even more than what she's already doing of her soul's purpose, of what her urge is, her inner urge, her soul urge, and also to be heard, her voice to be heard, that authentic voice of her true self and her true purpose and what she's doing, to be seen and heard now. And also, this seemed to be around the Zeal point chakra. Her twin flame at the same time had activations of the Zeal point, in which his dream recall started to come back. So this is where we can access our higher purpose, our true purpose, rather than what we think we want to do, but slightly shrouded by our ideas of what we think is possible. So this was really that urgency, that urge to step into that higher purpose and be seen and heard in that. And additional to that, The two of them had felt this extreme connection to nature in that, to Mother Gaia, to really oneness with the planet and care of the planet, but this enhanced communication with the planet in terms of being able to hear nature and see it at a whole new level. And this again is connected to the Zeal point in terms of spiritual communication. So as a unity, they were feeling not only this connection to Mother Earth, but this feeling as if Mother Earth existed within them.
You spoke about that, and you let yourself be heard, or you let yourself speak, because you were speaking about being heard. But what I felt was a shift through here. So the pineal is the upper dantian on your soul purpose line that, you know, accesses your higher wisdom and your higher gifts and your higher purpose, that communicates to this one, just for anyone who doesn't know, which is feeds it as a desire to you to do it. And then you've got your lower, your hara in your belly, right? That is where you actually manifest it. So this one started activating as you're speaking about being heard and really wanting to do it, wanting to connect to nature. And so I felt a shift through all of us as you spoke that out. So thank you for speaking. Thank you for speaking until it was done, until it was all expressed. And you've just been speaking as well about feeling like you're doing a job just for money, even though it's a great job. When if we're really not in survival mode, we're not doing that anymore. We're doing what we genuinely is our soul's purpose. You know, our birthright to be abundant, without having to think about where that comes from, and to just be doing our purpose. So that's what I feel we're opening up to, and we might be at baby steps of that because we've been so suppressed and so enslaved. But I feel like that's what humanity is shifting to in the new earth.
So at this point, others in the group were feeling that this was about being able to make the choice for ourselves. It's a choice point, and it's important to make this choice now to align to that higher purpose and stepping out of the what we think we need to do from the lower perspective to earn money, and really surrendering to that choice and surrendering to the fact that we are supported spiritually to make that choice. And what the group was feeling was the energy of that support and the energy of that surrender. That support enabled us to surrender to our higher truth, and that in expressing our higher truth through our life, we therefore then manifested that reality. The other element of that was that people had to work through the fear of being seen as crazy when they stepped into their aligned purpose, and felt that had come to resolution for them as well.
I felt there as well, when everyone spoke about that, was this alignment of the group. So there was this central pillar that came in, which was the group's soul purpose line. So the group's hara line, and it anchored. And I'm feeling it around the womb area or the abdomen, the sacral chakra area, just still trying to kind of work its way and clear. But it's the soul purposes come in, which means we can really ground this energy as a group as well. Kaya tia kaya kaya kataya kata katia kata katia 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 kata katiko tuko 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 taki taka tika taka tika taka tuko koko akata taka katia koko kataya kata kataya ta ta ta. There was a surge of energy through our lower back, just helping us stabilize our lower backs, our sacrums, to bring our individual and unified purposes in. Kaya tia koya kaya tia 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 tia. So now I'm seeing in all those four pillars, I'm seeing the unified twin flames all take their places there. think that's similar to what you did. I think there was only 2 pairs though. So now we've got 5 pairs. Perfect. Akaya tia kaya kosha tia koya tata takaka. I'm just feeling mine coming on the energetic. Akatoya taya kaya ki 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 ti 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 takai takai kakotoko koya taya ki. Akatai tatai tatia koya tia kai 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 takoya takai takai. Atata toya taya kia taya tai. Atata toya. Akatatia koya taya 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 kaya taya kia kia kia. Akataya taya 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 taya. So yes, I'm feeling that collective mission of the unified twin flames anchoring down now through that central pillar and through each of our central pillars for each pair. The central pillar within each twin flame pair. So we've just got each of the 4 corners of the pyramid plus the central one. Each has a twin flame pair. We all hold a part of that. And we have a hara line, which is that soul purpose line, the mission line, coming. We have our own individual one. We have one for each twin flame pair as well between you. And then we have a collective one for our twin flame collective. And each of those are now anchoring through our bodies individually, through our twin flame pairings and through the group. So the group has its own central pillar as well, which is a hara line, a mission line. Kaya tia koi, akaya tia koi, akaya ti, tatia koi, tatia kai, atia taya kaya kia toya kai. Still quite a lot happening around the abdomen, reproductive system, lower back. This is where it's just getting a bit stuck, where we've still got work we're clearing. Ataya taya kia kai, akia taya koya taya kia kia kia. Clearing through that sacrum bone now. Akatia kaya tia koi, tatia koi, ashaya kaya kaya. They're saying, make your wishes now. Make your soul-filled, heartful wishes now. This is what's being anchored. Akaya tia kai, atia kai, akia kaya ti. Akia kaya tia kaya 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 kai. Kia tai kia kai, akaya ti. Isha yoya tia kai. I can feel all our wings come out on our backs. Akaya tia kai, tia koi, tia kai. Akia tai kia toya kai, atia kai. Ashaya tai ko, atia ko, akia to. Akia to, akaya tia ki, titi, ata. Akia ta, akoya ta, akai. Akaya kai, kai, kai. Ashia kaya koya taya kia taya. Oya kaya tia koi, akia kai, akai, akai. Really anchoring through the Earth Star Chakra. Akaya tia kai, akaya koya kai. Akia koya taya kia kaya tai, koya tai. Akoya taya kia tia koya tai, akai. Akusha kaya tia kia koi. Akia koya tia kai, akasha tia koi. Akoi. Usha koya tai, akusha ai, atai akai, osha, ai, ata. And I feel there's an expansion now through each twin flame pair and each point on the geometry. Ia koya tai, akoi. It's like a brightening, an expansion. Koya tai, ia kai. I feel like a limpness in my body, like a surrender, but all the way to my body, you know.
One of the DMs at this point expressed that he felt shifts through his spine during this process, which has been a focal point for his physical issues. And he understood at this point it to be connected to the wishes and really getting clear about what our highest wishes are and heading towards them and allowing them to manifest and focusing on that now. And he also said that his dreaming had only recently returned at the same time as these insights had started to come in over the last week or so. This is again connected to the Zeal point chakra. This is a function of the Zeal point chakra. He was also equating this with an intense ability to communicate with nature, to hear and feel the animals and nature.
Wow, my ears are ringing now. So yeah. I think you're gifting us all with that.
They went on to say that nature had revealed some spiders' webs that had caught the light and were lit up by the light and the sunlight. And of course, the spiders' webs represent creating each day anew and catching your dreams for manifestation. They said that it was magical and it resembled a portal.
I do feel it's been so much about us really deciding what we do want and we don't want anymore, right? Like really what is authentic? What did I think I want but I don't want, but I thought I wanted it? And like you say, like in preparation for now, when we've stepped up that extra level of manifestation energy, that extra level of manifestation power where we've got to be sure what we want because we're going to manifest everything we think now, you know. It's there. I really can feel the difference this morning in the way everything feels. I really feel like we've stepped up another level to 5D, but it's like very especially today after all the shifting yesterday that, wow, it feels like time is spacious where it didn't feel like that before now. Nothing's physically changed. The pressures on me haven't changed, but time is more spacious. I can feel it. I can feel I'm in divine time. And there's a whole lot of other things that have stepped up. And if you haven't felt that, then I want to share those codes with you of what I'm feeling because it's just profoundly safe, protected, no rush. And that's a miracle for me, believe me. No rush. And no pressure to provide, which is a very masculine aspect. So there's been less of an emphasis on those masculine aspects of life that have run our world and more on the divine flow and safety and protection is a divine masculine trait, right? So we're shifting from those masculine and feminine traits to the divine masculine, divine feminine energies. It's so tangible to me.
One of the participants expressed that it's moved from an obligation to a desire, and that's how she perceives it.
So with that I felt followed by the throat, followed by the third eye, followed by the soul star.
DF was picking up that this is about the masculine in his 3D role of provider and protector, shifting out of the obligation or expectation to doing that and into a desire to do that, which is a divine masculine trait. And this then freed up the feminine from trying to provide for self, which is a masculine aspect, to being able to be in the being and in the divine flow. And the origin of this shift was coming from both accessing their true desire to just be who they are and then step into that and how that matches perfectly together. So this was bringing in the freedom for both and the freedom from that codependency or transactional relationships.
Okay, so so really feeling the focus around the heart now.
Yeah.
And the soul seat, the soul's purpose. And we're still anchoring through that sacrum at the back there in the spine. And there's a channel that keeps trying to come through. There are unforetold segments and fragments that are being reconciled through the individual vessels and the collective energies as a focused point for light codes to emanate and transfer through the group collective energy to invigorate, enliven, upgrade, upshift, and mobilize upward for all. Akaya tia kai. Isha tai kai ti kai toi kai kai. The safety that you feel is an inherent part of the ascension process that will come and go somewhat as you move in and out of timeline mobility. However, it will stabilize in due course as a permanent structure and a solid trajectory. Akaya tia koi. Akatia kaya kaya koya taya kaya kai. Talking to me now. The pain you feel in your left side will subside as these new light codes of the ascended earth transform your physical vessel. Akaya tia kaya toi. Kia toya kaya tia kai taki takai tuko. The upshifting frequencies will dispel the pain and discomfort for all as you mobilize to a frequency spectrum that is of your highest desire, that you have called for through your soul alignment to your soul purpose and your agreement at incarnation. Akaya tia kai. Akaya tai kia koya tai ati akai akai. The upshifts in the frequency spectrums that you encounter will have a force that has a field to it. This field will disseminate some jet stream that can be perceived as discomfort. This discomfort will shift quickly as long as you understand it is shifting out and not a permanent fixture. Kataya kia kai, akaya toya kaya kia taya kai, akia taya koya kia taya kaya kaya kai. As you anchor these light codes of ascension, you are going to see new ways of perceiving your environment. Akaya tia kai koya tai, tia koya tai kai, kia toya kaya kai. There will be endeavors that no longer serve and they will no longer be part of your life. Akaya tia koya tai, tia koya tai kia toya kai, akoya tai kia tia kaya koi, a tia kai, akusha tai kia. Akusha tai kia koya tia kaya kai, akoya tia kia koya tai, akia toya kai, a toy a kai, isha koi a koi. Receive these benevolent light codes as gifts of affirmation and enhancement of your physical vessels to help you navigate higher spectrums of light, higher frequency, and higher ways of living in alignment to your true path of soul service, soul grace, soul joy, soul love, and soul living. Akaya tia koi, akoi, akoi, akoi.
So one of the divine feminines had seen during that transmission a heart with a flame in it, and this flame was going into the heart, and it was burning off everything behind us, everything that we don't want to see or we can't see or that is no longer relevant to us, as well as everything that we were fearful of. The message was that don't worry about anything that's behind you. Don't worry that it's going to come back. Don't worry that you're going to get tricked if you're not aware based on the learning from the past, that it's safe to move forward now. And this flame, this heart flame, was lighting up the path forward. So that you can trust yourself. The message was to trust yourself, and that this was the fire coming in from the Aries. And the DM had earlier been speaking about the fire that he perceived as well.
I'm really feeling that focal point at that sacrum at the lower back there. It's still, it's really buzzing. It's really doing a lot of work. I don't know who can feel that, but it feels like it's really making some big shifts and anchoring us really into this new earth frequency, these new earth grids, where people can see our magic. They can see naturally because it's more visible as well. And because we can see it better. We can see ourselves better. We can hear ourselves better because we've cleared all that debris, all those opposing voices within us. Okay, yeah, really feeling a kind of settling down now into that abdomen, feeling kind of the fleshiness of it, kind of hitting the flesh now. There's that throat activating. There's the back of the third eye.
I will just summarize what happened then. It was probably a 15 or 20-minute process where one of the divine feminines perceived that third eye that I was just speaking about at the back of it, and she was clearing it with a lot of sound healing, and we all felt this amazing orgasmic Shakti, cosmic orgasmic energy come through. It just cleared the whole field. And the visuals she was getting was a pupil in the back of the third eye that was converted from what looked like devil's horns. So this would be representative of lower energies and lower perceptions being shifted and activated by bright white light, transforming into bright white light, and then being shown as a crescent moon facing upwards. We were all contributing to this process as well. One of the feminines was seeing the activation of the toroidal field, and we were all feeling this primal scream just before the Shakti energy came through and just cleared the field, completely raised the vibration of the whole field and cleared all the other energies.
That feels so much clearer now. There was a huge tension in the core star that released and cleared the whole field. Thank you.
This was then followed up by some divine messages with frequency that were about being in divine grace, being true to yourself, and releasing fear, having no fear, peace and is coming, all of that kind of thing. Not sharing these messages and healings here as they didn't come through me. That's sacred to the group. However, more messages then came through and healings around hearing and the cochlea, which was a Fibonacci spiral like the Nautilus shell, really activating that hearing, which has already been a feature of the workshop earlier.
Really made a big difference to the spine as well, and that lower back, just like really cleared that lower back that was the focal point. So I feel like that hara line might be in now, jaw. Our wings on our back just got larger, so we've brought in an even larger angelic presence than before. We already had.
This point, people were feeling very hot as that Shakti energy, that sexual energy had come in. It was activating everybody. It was grounding through the group hara line. And it was, discussions came up around the perceptions of that clearing this suppression of the divine sexual energies and how important that was and what impact that makes on the planet, as that is no longer expressed in its true authenticity, no longer suppressed in its true authenticity and is expressed. And there was discussions about how people were perceiving that we were safe, really feeling that safety, and that whatever comes up, shadow or light, whatever challenges come up, we're able to navigate our way and we'll walk through it differently than we could before, that there's been a shift in that due to this energetic safety that is now anchored. The divine feminine that saw the pupil with the crescent moon felt that this symbol also represented safety and the ability to the white light and the purity to be stronger than the darkness.
Okay, it feels so still and balanced. There's something coming through that stillness. So there's a heart activation. Saying there's an invitation to now step forward fully onto your path. It is your choice, but you're being beckoned forward now. It's an invitation. It's and there feels to be a promise that everything you need to do that will be there if you trust in yourself and your path. So what I'm feeling, so in this stillness, what I'm feeling is what's ahead now. So it's not the focus now isn't on grounding down what we're in. It's like the focus now is right, we're in, we're grounded, we're balanced, we're unified, and now we're an awareness of what's over the horizon is coming in. And it just, I don't know if anyone can feel it, but what I can feel is just exquisite. It's just beautiful. But it's a choice that we're making. Is that what we want? You know, I know we all would say, oh yeah, but it's like really making that choice from your heart and committing to it.
One person was speaking about how what they're feeling is that we're being asked to honour who we really are and step into it. And as we do that, there's not as much effort required to bring things to us in order to be able to do that. So we have been resisting who we really are at some levels with all the multiple voices, and this is now an integration of who we really are into our physical worlds and the choice point to step into that. And when we do, that horizon is vast and beautiful and soul-filled and joyful.
And it's a choice point. And then what they're reiterating to me now, they just keep repeating, is the 5. And the 5 is the turning point.
Yeah.
And the 5 is where we move from the 4 up to the ether, right? So it's just, we're invited up into the 5, and it's a choice point. It's a turning point. It's the point of change. Yeah. I feel that we've come to a completion. It's time to probably close the circle.
One of the DMs wanted to mention that during the time I was feeling what's coming and energetically feeling the energy and the emotion of it, he was getting visuals of a vast horizon with a sun. It was beautiful and vast. And this correlated also with my desire over the last few days to start creating some cosmic coloured seascapes where you've got the ocean, the horizon, and the sun. So I felt that we were all picking up on the same energies coming in that will be anchored in our own ways.
So at this point, we closed the circle.
We went on to speak on the group with those that were left about the expansion of the physical world of the divine masculine up into the energetic world of the feminine and vice versa, and how each needed to learn almost the difference between driving a tractor and a plane, or existing as an earthbound creature or as a skybound creature. And there was this exchange now happening as this merging happened between the levels, this extending of the energetic twin into the physical and the physical twin into the energetic. We also spoke about, as we've shifted through to a new dimensional layer and penetrated through that ceiling as such, we're also having a changeover of guides, and this is a really big new beginning, much more aligned to that access of the higher levels of who we are, as opposed to maybe accessing it but still living a physical life in the way that we understand is required and necessary in this lower level of operation and as part of inhabiting a physical body, but this is expanding now.
In the week since that workshop, a lot of the work we did and the things we discuss have come more to light in terms of the context and what we were really doing. So there was a big emphasis around the Zeal point chakra and the atlas bone at the top of the neck, the base of the skull. So it's where the neck meets the skull. This is often associated with Atlantis, and several people after the workshop did feel shifts around that area, cracks and crunches and pains and stiff necks and things like that. It came to light as well through one of the participants who informed me that there is a brace that was worn around the neck at that place in Atlantis where it gave the controllers ultimate control over you. So that fits in with what was coming through about choices, making choices, being able to make choices, and being able to be sovereign, and the aversion to being controlled or to control. And there's also a lot of reversal of the fall of Atlantis that many of us have been working through, and this seems to have a focus as well. The place where it's held in the body seems to be the jaw, the neck, the sternum bone, and that atlas bone there, the neck. Also about the Zeal point, quite a lot was mentioned about being able to dream, rediscovering dreams, being able to dream again. This is a Zeal point function which sits just at that atlas bone, just above that atlas bone. It's also where you manifest. It's one of the manifestum portals. It's where we connect to our psychic gifts. Basically, if that's blocked, you're not going to be able to dream. You're not going to be able to access those wishes and dreams and desires and your higher knowing about what you really want. And so this does make sense as to why that control was in that area. Other things that came up were tomorrow, the 28th of October, is a sextile, a grand sextile, which helps us bring in and align to what it is that we truly, authentically want, and to be able to more easily let go of that which is not that, let go of the past, which came up in this session as letting go of what was behind us, taking off that backpack, and looking forward to what's coming and creating that new aligned to our authentic truth. And this forms a 6 point. So it is 2 triangles over the top of each other, which can also be seen as a masculine triangle and a feminine triangle pointing in polar ways and adjoining as a single unit. And so we can see this is a twin flame structure as well. And then what I personally have been feeling really landing and coming in, and this again is a Zeal point chakra effect, is that when that is open and flowing, it brings in harmony, peace, and balance. And these are the light codes that have been coming in for me all week. I've been feeling this abundant peace, love, unity, and this sense of, I'm calling it like being a lady of leisure. But I don't mean that in the sense of not doing anything, but not working as such, but more in the sense of having this freedom of choice, freedom for life to be the way I want it to be, without anyone controlling me. So sovereign and free and harmonious. So not having the interference of different factors working against me, and not having to worry about things like finances because it's not a concern, it's taken care of. So it's taken care of because we've made a timeline shift to a frequency that fully supports us. So we don't have to think about those things from our mind. We're manifesting our life from resonance, from what we resonate with from an energetic level rather than so much a logical, strategic way. So I hope that makes sense. Really been feeling those energies coming in. And the other way that I've felt that through the twin flame dynamic very strongly, I've done a recent transmission about this, is, which I'll link below, is the masculine becoming aware of the interference in the energy and all the irritation, and then speaking up and saying, oh, I don't like this. I don't like there's all these things I don't like. And the feminine, from the energetic perspective, say, dropping into the, well, what do you want? So this is, again, that choice, but what is it that you actually want so that it can be manifest? And the masculine says, I just want to love you. And the feminine agrees that that is the core of the issue. Yes, I just want to love you too. And as they both align to that truth of what they really want, which is to love each other, come together to be unified, there is a transmuting of all of those interference energies as that love just permeates and overrides all of it. I'm seeing all those ocean pictures, and it's like a wave that ripples out, like a wave of love that just ripples out and spreads right across the whole Twin Flame Collective and the whole planet and out into the cosmos of, all I want is to love you. And everything just harmonizes. So then you see that rippling through the dimensions and through the layers into the third dimensional world, where it changes your decisions in your life. Like, well, why am I doing that? If all I want to do is love you, then I don't need to do that anymore, and letting that go. And yeah, and so I feel this is all very much connected to this Zeal point chakra, that Atlas bone, clearing the control of Atlantis and the overdominance of the masculine principles in Atlantis. So what I have felt happen from there is, as we all clear this area, which we've done in this workshop, and then we're doing, each pair of the twin flame unity are doing that, it gets an upgrade automatically because we're raising the vibration as we're doing that. And then the twins can merge through that area. And as they merge through that area, I feel from the solar plexus down into the earth, all of that area reorganize and line up, ready to go through a transformative process also,
And a couple of us in this group were having lower back pain and joint pain in our lower body. So that is the start of that moving through. So that is the next phase that will move through, and then we will unify in those areas as well as they're upgraded. So I hope you all can receive those energies and move through it quickly. The discomfort was quite uncomfortable. It was emotionally uncomfortable. It was a lot of adversity, resistance, and challenges and frustrations coming from the environment as well, clearing through some of the deep foundational core issues in your life that are keeping you away from that freedom and away from that sovereignty. But once they move through, what's on the other side is that beautiful harmony, balance, and awareness that I just want to love you. So on that note, do make sure you drink a lot of water, listen to your bodies, eat when you need to eat, drink when you need to drink. Just really listen to those subtle cues from your spirit and your body in order to take care of yourself. Listen to these as many times as you need to. Each time you will get another layer of healing. Blessings, everybody. See you next time.